there, it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today we're doing a little mini Beautylish haul. I picked up one of the new Tom Ford eye quads, a Jill Stuart blush, the Goss luxury eye palette, and one of the Goss eyeliners. I also received a free dry shampoo, which we can talk about. And we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna do an eye look today using the Tom Ford eye quad in Meteoric, which is one of the new ones with the pretty sparkly shade in it. I have a separate video using the Goss palette. I do swatches, a full look, but today I'll just do swatches for you. And then we're gonna try out the Jill Stuart blush. It took me a long time to get this Tom Ford eye quad, just because every time it came out at a retailer, it would sell out, but Beautylish, at this time, everything I'm showing you is in stock, so that's good. I wanted to get this at Selfridges just because it's a little bit cheaper. I have free shipping, but it's not even on the website anymore. It was on there for sold out for a long time. I think anytime anything new releases on Selfridges, it just sells out within, like, it seems like minutes. So I just picked it up. I paid full price, which kind of sucks, but whatever. I really wanted it, and I mean, these shades really appealed to me. So I'm excited. I'm filming tonight. I think it's almost 11 p.m. I'm filming in my room, which isn't ideal, so the lighting isn't the best. I rather do sort of natural sunlight lighting, but I've been really busy at work and I haven't had time to utilize the sunlight during the day. But I wanted to get this video out because everything's in stock at Beautylish. If you guys are interested in picking this up, I wanted you to see what this stuff is like and if it's worth getting. I have tried everything except for the quad. Jill Stuart Blue Mix Blush Compact. Isn't this absolutely gorgeous? Now, it's pretty. I will say it looks a little bit this is cute, but it's plastic. It is a plastic sort of case. It does look very glamorous though. It's a nice, it's a mid-range looking plastic. It's very reflective, and this little attachment you can take on and off. It's just like a little a necklace lobster clasp, so if you don't want this dangling, you can take it off. This is what the blush looks like. This is number 2 Baby Lilac, and you can see I've used it, but it is super cute. It has a little design in each petal, and this isn't super huge, but it has a nice mirror on it. Online, when you look at this, it looks like, oh, this is gonna be a big blush palette. It's not. It's definitely a normal compact size. So I have another compact. They're very similar. I'll show you other compacts. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, just sort of for size comparison. This is the Chantecaille Bronzer. So it's not super giant. Really like the color choices that they had, and I had kind of had a hard time deciding which one I wanted to get. So I may be picking up more in the future. But this is $38, and yes, it is a lot, but this is a very pigmented blush, and you can really kind of customize the color that you get by, focusing on certain areas. You do have to kind of, either use kind of a small brush or just sort of pinch, so it's, if you only want certain ones. But I've been swirling, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply this now using all the shades, and you can see how much you get. So you want to kind of do a light hand with this guy, but I really like the tone of this blush. I think it's not something I really have in my collection. I don't have a ton of, so yeah, so that's me going in too much. I don't really have like a ton of blushes in my collection, but I don't have a good like really pink one. So this is gonna do that for me. But they have, as I said, all sorts of shades. I'm just gonna blend this out just a little bit. But you can see how easy it is to overdo it with the pigment on this one. But I think that's kind of a good thing. That tells you like this is probably gonna last you quite a long time. But I think it's really pretty. I heard about this from Tara Babies. She's on YouTube. She does like Saturday hauls, and she's into horses, and she's like full on glam, and she has like a ton of products that she buys like all the time. So her videos are always hauls, and she does a lot of swatches and reviews. If you haven't checked her out, you definitely should. But she has, I think, almost every shade of the Jules Stuart. So I was tempted to get one of these, and I did, but it was hard to choose like which color I wanted. But I recommend it. I can do some swatches for you. It just feels so buttery soft. This is the white shade kind of mixed in with that pink. But it's kind of like, it's not really a highlighter, but it is shiny. If we do the baby pink shade, you know, kind of barely there. And this is where you start really getting into the color. Kind of a gradient happening, or it just kind of gets brighter and brighter and brighter. It's a little bit hard to swatch blush, but you can see like the full pigment really comes from this deep shade here. But this is the swatches. You know, it's a little bit tough to see all of that. But you can see like you can get a lot of pigment. You could customize it, like if you wanted to do this one and this one, or this one and this one. This is the box, this is the packaging. I believe this is a made in Japan, yeah, a Japanese company. Really nice. This is not like super heavy. As I said, it is plastic, so it's pretty lightweight. Just on the back here, they describe the colors. This is the highlight shade, they say. This is the nuance color, which I'm not sure what that means, and these two are the bright colors. So that's how they describe it in the little picture on the back. Super cute, super lovely. If you're, you know, wanting to get a new blush, try a different formula. You probably, I would bet, like the compacts, but they are $38. You're getting 4.5 grams in here, or 0.15 ounces. Comparing that to other blushes, if you look at the NYX, there's 0.17 in here, so even though there's a lot of shades, it's probably the equivalent to one blush. So on the pricey side, for sure. Good impressions, good first impressions, good first couple of uses. I've really enjoyed this color. Alright, I'll do the Wayne Goss palette first. Just a little kind of overview and swatches, and then you guys can check out my full-on video on Wayne Goss. I go into a lot of detail. The palette is $55, 16.2 grams, 0.57 ounces, 6 shades. This is a neutral palette, as you guys have probably already known. And the shade names are numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 mattes. Rest of these are satin, and this is a celestial shade. Let's get into swatches. Some of these shades are going to be a little bit hard to see on me, especially number 1 right here. So this is a satin. And in my other video, I did a lot of as many comparisons as I could find in my collection. This is definitely a unique shade. I think I found a couple comparable swatches, but this is definitely like a yellow, goldy sort of satin that you can use for a highlight. Number 2 is a warm satin that just really applies effortlessly. Now, in my other video, you can see the swatches in the sunlight, and now you'll get to see them sort of in indoor lighting. This is the matte black, just a classic matte. See, it's feels a little bit dry. It's not as smooth as Pat McGrath's, but it's just as pigmented. Right, number 4. This is a terracotta satin shade. Which, you know, looks very orange, but is very wearable. It's actually not that orange, but it can appear that way in some lighting. Then we have number 5, our kind of milk chocolatey cocoa shade. Definitely a nice matte. It's not buttery, but it's a little less dry than the black. But it's smooth. It's not like super soft and buttery, but it's smooth. I think it's a nice one. Lastly, number 6, the Celestial. Now this is a glitter topper, and I have some of that black shadow on my hand, but it's not overly dramatic. It's not as like super sparkly like Pat's, but I say I found like one of her toppers to be very similar to this one, and I think the formula is pretty similar. Not exact, but it's the same idea. So Pat McGrath topper, very similar, but this shade has a lot of silver, but a little bit of gold too. It's a good mix. First swatch is me having black eyeshadow on my finger, then you can go by the second swatch. Imperial Topaz palette. This palette is not going to be the first palette, or the only palette that Wayne comes out with, but I think this should be thought of as like the first base palette. These are your base colors, and the next palettes will probably incorporate some more color in different tones. A lot of you probably will be more excited about that one than this one, just because it's neutral, but I have to say, like, when I applied this to my eyes, the look was effortless. Everything applied really great and smoothly. I had no issues. You know, it is a higher priced palette for how many shades you get, but you do get a lot of eyeshadow per shade. I also got the Essential Eye Kohl pencil, and this is in Precious Opal. This is the brown one. He has a black and then like a deep brown, but they looked very similar, so I got the one that actually looked brown. And if you swatch this out, or sorry, rub it out, there's like tiny little micro gold shimmer in it. I'm not sure you're really gonna see it on the eye that well. Maybe a little bit. So you can put it on and smudge it, and you get a little bit of that gold, which is cool. That's why it's called Precious Opal, because there is a little bit of shimmer, but it's not, I wouldn't consider it metallic or a shimmer eye pencil by any means, but I don't want you to be surprised when you see that little bit of gold in there. But I used it on my lower lash line and on my waterline, which I don't normally do, and I thought it looked pretty. You know, going my waterline, things always get really goopy for me, but I may use it using with the Tom Ford palette. We'll see. Very exciting Tom Ford eye quad. This is $88, just like all the other eye quads. 10 grams of product in here, 0.35 ounces. I only, believe it or not, only have one other Tom Ford quad. This is my second one. So yeah, I waited to get this one. I think you can see I did a little fingerprint in there. Whoop. So each Tom Ford quad comes with the sponge applicator, two of them there, and then one here, and this is a little brush. Comes in this little pouch like all the quads do. Pretty standard packaging, nothing new here. So just so you guys know, there's another new one that came out that's more peachy corally. I didn't get both, I just got this one just because this one really appealed to me. So we're gonna do the bottom shades first. Oh, feels very smooth. Ooh. That's nice. I feel like I probably have this shade in my collection, but it's really smooth. Next we have sort of this satin brown shade. And I knew this wasn't going to swatch well. This shade is a little bit dry. But you can see the sheen there. Now we're going to do the light glittery shade here. This reminds, whoa, look at that blinding. So this kind of reminds me of the celestial shade we swatched from Goss. I have some black in it now, but I mean, kind of similar, right? For shits and giggles, let's compare these babies side by side. So Wayne's is not quite as shiny as the Tom Ford, but still really pretty. It's a little bit deeper. Tom Ford's a little more champagne, where Wayne's leans a little bit more peachy gold. Last but not least, the shade I'm most excited about, the purple shade. So these do feel pretty textured, and they are very glittery. I mean, it's pretty. First impressions, it's definitely a different shade. I don't have the shade in my collection, but it's not as like remarkable as I thought it would be. I mean, it looks cool on this angle. This angle, not as much, but it is pretty. I don't think I have like a glitter special sort of shade like this in my collection. I think it's odd because it, like, I knew the color story, but these are running a little bit more warm than they look in the pan, especially this one, where this is obviously more cool. This is somewhat neutral, could go either way. Yeah, kind of a confusing palette, but we'll see how it looks on the eyes. The purple is pretty. It's, I don't know, like Tom Ford's very like sophisticated pretty. So like while these shades are nice, they're more like on the more subtle side of pretty. They're not in your face colors. They're not gonna be like super dramatic, but they're pretty. But yeah, I don't know, kind of disappointed. The shade here. Well, that feels nice. It does look very warm, right? Doesn't look that way in the pan to me, at least. At least it looks more medium brown and not warm brown. I don't know. Maybe it is more of a neutral and I'm just going crazy. But it applies really nicely. The other quad that I have from Tom Ford is the New Dip. And that is a very different textured palette. It's all satin. So all shiny. And I didn't love it at first when I first tried it. But then after I used it the second time, I really appreciated these shades and the smoothness of them and the sophistication of them. Whereas it's funny how this palette is like totally different. First of all, like there's no engraving and these are flat shadows where these are like kind of 3D. There's a matte, there's two glitters, and then a satin. Whereas these are like super, I don't know if they call them like gelée, baked gelée, but I don't know. I think I so far prefer this type of shadow. But I know like, I noticed that like in the quads, like they're kind of inconsistent, different types of formulas, which is fine. That makes you buy more palettes, but just noticing. I mean, if you're like a hardcore Tom Ford fan, you already know that. But if you're new to Tom Ford, something I noticed about them, they're all different. You're all getting something different. So you really want to pay attention to, in the photos, like the texture and what these actually are. So I'm going to go into the satin brown shade for the swatch. This is very easy to apply. So I think the New Dip is like the wet to dry formula, and I've tried it both wet and dry. And the look is definitely more intense and shiny with it wet. But this is not the same formula as I said before. Like, I think the New Dip is more baked, or what they refer to as the wet dry, but I don't think these are the same. So, I mean, those two colors are pretty, I mean, together. If you really wanted to be done here, you could be. I'm kind of like torn like what I should do, because I almost wish there was one glitter and then one sort of shimmer or a light satin shade that I could pop on the lid or on the inner corner or the brow bone and then just kind of top it off with the glitter. But there's two glitters, so I'm like, do I use both on one eye or one on each eye so you guys can see? I think I'm gonna start with the purple and see how it goes. So I noticed, you can kind of see that. I noticed the Wayne Goss kind of did this too, where the sparkle was really like sheer and not concentrated and kind of spread out. And it same goes with this one. I'm just going to use my finger so I can get more concentrated color in one spot. So now you can see the sparkle. It's definitely like the sparkle is there. You can see it, right? But it's like a sophisticated sparkle. It almost creates an effect of gloss. Just super reflective, but not crazy glitter. So this is called Meteoric, and I think it, you know, because it's purple, but it kind of looks like a galaxy, just like stars in the sky. You know, I put a tissue under, but I got some fallout. I'm just gonna do some of the other color of glitter on the inner corner. The NYX glitter glue strategically replace that other glitter. I'm gonna use a tiny brush. Alright, so you can really see that color with the glitter glue. Definitely more noticeable sparkle than the one on my lid. Alright, applied same look on the other side. Glitter, purple glitter on the lid, white glitter on the inner corner. Very, very sparkly, but refined sparkle. So I'm going to use the Wayne Goss Precious Opal Eye Coil on the upper lid. So I'm just going to do the upper lash line. That's pretty much it for the eyeliner for me. I'm not going to do the bottom. So I'm going to do a little mascara. I will note that I like the glitter. I like the subtle purple tone. I wish it was a little bit more of a rich purple. It's not quite purple enough for my taste, but I have to remember this is Tom Ford, and you know, they like that sophistication. You know, this is for a grown-up woman, and I'm not always a grown-up woman, no. I don't know, maybe they think people are afraid of a glittery, deeper purple. I think they would be surprised, though. I think it fits with the aesthetic of the rest of his palettes, though, to be honest. Yeah, I think this really recreates like a glossy lid. Like if you were to put like an eye gloss or like a Vaseline type of product to make your eyes look shiny, I think this actually gives you a very similar effect because the glitters are pretty fine. I think on some skin tones the purple is going to get completely lost and you're not going to see really any purple. I have very fair skin and you can kind of barely see purple on me. So kind of disappointed about that, to be honest. I don't go for glitter in my everyday looks, especially not at work. So I wouldn't say this is like half of this palette super work appropriate, but I think you know that going into it buying this. But I was hoping for something a little more metallic rather than straight up glitter topper. But that's probably why you really pay attention to what you're buying. Where I just get excited and like, yeah, I want to buy it, and then I don't think too much about it. I'm going to do a little bit of highlight before we get into my review and final thoughts. I have a new highlight from an indie brand, Chaos Makeup. This is Galaxy, and it's pink and green shift. I know, a little bit wild for this look, but I don't care. We're going to have a little fun. I'm not going anywhere after this. I'm taking a shower. I mean, I love this. This is like blinding, blinding, blinding. This is the only Tom Ford lip stuff I have. This is Casablanca. It's a little bit warm. It's not my first choice. I think maybe it just clashes with my blush and highlighter. I think it goes with the eyes, but not this part. I think I'm going to top it with Divine Rose from Pat McGrath. Alright, this is the final look. So you can see very classic, very glamorous, very sparkly. I think I kind of did a typical look that most people would do if they were to pick up this palette. Apply this on the lid, put this in the crease, put this on the lid, and then put this kind of in the inner corner wherever you want to highlight. Or you could use just one of these on the lid if you prefer, if you don't want to go as ham as I did in the inner corner. but I think this is like what you're gonna get out of it. It's pretty. I don't think if I swatched this in the store, I probably wouldn't have picked it up because this isn't rich enough for me. And this is predominantly the reason why I got the palette. Now I'm not going to return it. I'm not going to do any of that. I think I'm going to get some use out of it. Probably not as much use as the nude dip. Just because these are more everyday, more wearable. And they're all sort of this nice satin finish in very wearable colors that are very flattering. And they are not glittery, but I think these complement each other. I think you can certainly enhance these two shades with the lighter colors up here and this one. I think this may give the same effect as this guy, but I think this is a bit more of a cooler, neutral palette that goes with these top shades, at least the purple one. Whereas this was really warm, and you know, the taupe is more aligned with this top row. So I think these would be good together if I were to pick up two. Yeah, I'm just a little confused about how warm this one was compared to the rest of the palette. It doesn't look that warm in the pan though, so kind of a tricky palette. I don't know if this is like people's favorites, if people are liking this one. I thought they were, but maybe, I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I do, if you want to do a glitter, if you love glitter, this is a really pretty option for you in a palette. You get a nice wet, glossy eye look from these glitters. I would recommend a glitter glue. Just because, like, if I didn't put a tissue there, I would have had glitter all over my face. And even if you do your eye makeup first, glitter can be really hard to remove. Can I recommend? I think you really need to pay attention to what you're getting in this guy, because it's kind of surprised me. And not in the best way. But I think overall this is a pretty look. So can I really complain at the end of the day? No, I'll use it. I'll find ways to use it. The blush palette I really like. I think it's a pretty tone of bright pink. I know pink is not for everyone. I know I have to be really careful not to go too hard into the bright shades, but I like the different tone options. You get this bright pink and the cooler pink, and I think they work well together. You kind of customize it. But this is Baby Lilac. Goss palette. You can check out my other video, but overall, really good quality. I think I liked the eye look I got out of this, plus the eyeliner, more than I did the Tom Ford. And this is a lot cheaper, and you get 2 more shades. But I think people did comparisons of the Tom Ford, and they found Tom Ford to be cheaper, I think. Like, price per ounce, but even though there's only 4 shades. Whatever. I know, people do the math, I get it, but I think it's unfair to do price per ounce comparisons with this guy because it's so easy and smooth, and the colors really go really well together. You can use all the shades or just sort of this quad. It goes really well together. He uses black to deepen things up. Like if you have deeper skin, you can deepen all the colors up with the black. And the Celestial is kind of like this eye gloss sort of look. It's a sophisticated, glittery topper shade. You can add it to your inner corner if you want. Top it off the middle of the lid. Whatever you like to do. I think this is a good palette. I would recommend this over the Tom Ford I just picked up. I would recommend Nude Dip over the one I just picked up. I don't know, it's not bad, but I think you're just gonna get, these color story goes together. This one is confused. So, and you have a good black in here, a good brown matte. I mean, I know like the price per weight of ounces and grams is better in this one, but this is the better value, the $55. I would recommend this if you're picking up stuff on the Beautylish website. I would pick up the Wayne Goss. The eye pencil, I mean, it's a nice eye pencil. It's only $14, so if you just wanted to check it out, it's not that much money. I wanted to get his lipsticks, one of the lipsticks and maybe one of the glosses, but the colors I wanted were sold out. So I didn't get any. There was colors that weren't sold out, but I didn't want those, so I didn't get them. I'm trying to be really picky and not just buy everything. I'm pretty new to YouTube, and I've been spending a lot of money on makeup and skincare and not a lot on other things that I would like to spend my money on. So I'm trying to practice self-control, but it's been really hard. I've already spent a lot this month. So yeah, that's kind of my first impressions review. Everything I picked up from Beautylish. I like Beautylish because everything ships really fast to me. Customer service is really good. I've never had anything break or arrive broken. Never had any issues with them. I did get a free R&Co Death Valley dry shampoo with my order. Wasn't expecting that. Didn't know I was going to get a free gift. But I've never tried this dry shampoo. 75 milliliters worth of product, 1.6 ounces. So a nice little travel size. I think it's good to have a nice travel shampoo. I don't like doing my hair a lot on travel or vacation, so not bad to carry one of those around. Alright. That is it for me. These are the swatches. This is the look on my eyes. Right? Not too far off from the swatches, right? Not super vibrant, not super like pigmented, but everything went on really easily, smoothly. I think this is in line with Tom Ford, but just remember the quads have different formulas. So if you've never tried sort of this type of quad before, you might be in for a surprise if you're used to the wet to dry formula like the Nude Dip. Alright guys, I hope you learned something. I hope this encouraged you or didn't encourage you to pick up some of this stuff. Please comment below if you have any questions. Click like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.